Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening day of Worlds 2020. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, as the best teams on the planet have gathered in Shanghai, China to fight for the prestigious Summoners Cup. And here we see Mad Lions and INTZ entering the arena. Through the eyes of the Oppo cam, it's all about to go down. My goodness. Yes, I am Machine, and it's a complete honor to be given the responsibility of guiding the analyst desk for the play-ins this year. And I know some of you don't know me, and that's okay. This show, thankfully, isn't about me. It is about none other than the game itself. It's about the very best in the globe, competing in the real-time 10-man puzzle of mechanical and cognitive processing. And I'm just here to smile, wave, and help everyone appreciate the art form that is League of Legends. Fortunately, it's not me. I'm not the brains of this brigade. It is our brainiacs here to my left. It is looking pretty swagger, might I say. Dressed up, it is none other than our jungling Brit, Cadril, and my League of Legends father figure. He's had a haircut. It's nice. It's Trevor Quickshot Henry, everybody, and the crowd goes wild.
The age jokes never stop, but look at it this way. Welcome to Worlds, both Alex and Mark, and for the first time, XL.
XL at Worlds.
Oh, you made it. Congratulations.
We made it.
I hate that. That joke just, it's like, yeah, I'm smiling.
It's overused.
It never gets old. Honestly, it never gets old. It's fun for me every time.
Well, we are kicking things off with the play-in stage, where there are some changes to the format from previous years. Now, some of it's a bit complicated, but Trevor, even I can see we've got 2 less teams.
That's right. 22 teams total instead of the 24 due to national travel restrictions related to COVID-19. Our 2 qualifying teams from Vietnam will unfortunately be unable to travel to Shanghai to compete this season. So that means for play-ins groups, they'll be split into 2 groups of 5 teams. Each group plays a single round robin. First place in each group goes directly into the group stage, while the last place is eliminated. Following that, 3rd and 4th place will face off in a best-of-5 series. The winner goes up against the 2nd place from the other group, and that will be the final BO5 series to determine the 2 spots in the group stage. I'm bummed personally because the VCS and the Vietnamese teams have been exceptionally competitive, exceptionally entertaining, and to not have them competing at Worlds, it is sad, but it is, you have to acknowledge the pandemic that's happening, and I'm very fortunate that at least we can still have 22 of the teams. I really like the change to the play-ins groups.
Yeah, and the Vietnamese region kind of is like the kryptonite to Europe. You know, you had the Gigabyte Marines versus Fnatic, you had the Blue Buffalo versus G2, so it's not the end of the world for Europe, but it's quite sad not to have them here.
Yeah, we've lost our nemesis, and it's an absolute shame, but I'm looking forward all the same to seeing how the 22 do. The play-in stage will feature a variety of regions and styles, but it is safe to assume that the Pool 1 seeds are the clear frontrunners. Right, I was doing my homework, brought it up. Pool 1, there's 4 names in that, and they're all looking pretty beefy.
Yeah, definitely the top teams coming out of Pool 1, Mad, Liquid, LGD. You can't not talk about these teams. I mean, Mad, they did so well in the regular split. They came 2nd place, 3rd place in Spring as well, and they did drop off a bit in playoffs, like Team Liquid did, who also finished 1st place in their regular season. But these 2 teams definitely look strong. And then China, LGD, you can't not talk about them. The 4th seed from the LPL. They finished 6th in the regular split. They beat IG to get here. They had a 6-1 record against them. And IG did run it down a little bit, you could argue, but LGD is looking really
argue.
good.
A little later, I will actually argue that. For now, though, I think, though, like Alex, you did point it out, 3 of the 4 potential teams that we're expecting to advance to the group stage have already been listed. I think a dark horse for me, out of the remaining teams in play-ins groups, has to be Unicorns of Love. They've dropped 2 games all year. Like, let that sink in for a second. 2 games all year in the domestic season.
Not one season, the whole year.
The entire year. So I think they are coming in. I think the LCL as well does have a competitive history on the international stage. So I'm hopeful, and for all of our fans and our viewers at home, they are intimately familiar with the organization of EuroWorld.
And just from a competitor's standpoint, I think it speaks volumes about their competitive drive and their pursuit of glory, in the fact that you are clearly the front runner in your region. Clearly there is no one to push your game to the next level, and still you're pursuing the victories to the point where you said 39?
Pretty much. And 2. Yeah, 2 games lost.
Jeez Louise. Okay. But there is another name, and it is one that's pretty short, easy to say, short and sweet, just like Cadril himself. V3.
Yeah, V3. I mean, I have to agree with Trevor. I mean, UL almost made it to Worlds with Splice. They went 2-3 in the end, but V3, the LJL, has never actually made the Worlds group stage ever. They always fall short in play-ins, but this is one roster I'm looking at when I was watching their games in the final especially. Like, they look so good. Their jungle Boogie, he's playing like 10 games of Lilia, 27% damage dealt from a jungler.
Are you telling me
illegal.
you think they're making it to groups?
They're going to make it to groups.
You're telling me
LJL? I'm telling you, it's
Alex,
a dark horse.
You may not have heard this before, but Vedius has sung the praises of LJL for years. Do you know how many times he's been right?
I mean...
Not a single time.
Yeah, okay.
This is the time.
You have spent too much time with Various, but I would like to see how they
No,
play.
I want to hear you weave this story. So you were saying it starts with Boogie in the jungle. How else do I defeat
You've got Archer in the bot lane.
Okay.
His mechanics and fights are crazy good. And then the solo lanes of Ace and Paz, I think they're really, really exceptional. I think this team
Too much anime.
is my dark horse. I think they
much
might
anime.
make it. I'm pretty confident.
I would love the anime story, though. You know, get that full down, trodden, impossible to overcome odds. There's plenty of that going around here in Worlds. And as always, a big part of it is the meta. The meta will have a huge impact on the tournament. So why don't we start thinking about those trends coming into Worlds? So if anyone's not been doing League, don't worry. I haven't been keeping my finger on the pulse at all times. Now is your chance to get yourself ready and equipped for Worlds that is just around the corner. Kadrill, I'm looking at you, man. You've been in the jungle doing your bits and your bobs.
Yeah, the meta's been shifting a lot recently. The general overview of the meta was tank top, tank jungle, where should I go? You had so many questions going into the meta, but just looking at the graphic itself, the picks in general, I think these are the 4 most common picks you'll see going into Worlds. These are champions which haven't been nerfed. You've got the Shen top, you can have it in jungle as well. We've seen the River Shens. It's so flexible with the carry jungle playstyle. You have the Pantheon support, which is it's looking quite deadly towards the end of the playoffs, especially in the LCK. You've got the Ashe, and then you've got the Renekton in top lane as well, which synergize with the AP junglers. I think those picks are basically the ones I'm looking at as the prio picks. And if you look towards the bot lane, talking about Ashe, Sen has been nerfed, Caitlyn's been a little bit nerfed as well, so they might have fallen off a little bit of prio, so I'm definitely looking at Ashe as the strongest AD carry. And then you look at the jungle as well. Do I play a scaling jungler? Do I play an early jungler? And I think the only real early jungler you're looking at is Set. I think if Set's off the board, you're looking at more carry-orientated sort of scaling junglers, and then that'll match well with the mage's mid lane that I think is going to show up the most, other than maybe the Lucian.
Okay, now I'm going to sound like an idiot here, aren't I? But mages and mid lane. Now, back in my day, I was rocking it down mid with my Lux. She is a mage. That was 2015. That was mid. Why is mages mid lane even a meta conversation?
Well, Machine, the game's changed a lot since you've last played. Just to let you know.
Touche. I mean, sure.
And the mage has been playing bot a lot from G2. You've had mages in the jungle. There was even times where you had Syndra, carts in the jungle, stuff like this. And I think mages will be the aim of the game for Worlds here. I mean, Akali did show some prio in the playoffs, but it did get nerfed a little bit. So other than her and LeBlanc, I'm not seeing too many assassins come in. But I think mages is definitely what we're looking at.
And now I'm afraid I'm getting out my giant wooden spoon from my quiver here. And so I was doing my research. I like to go on the social media world. I went to Reddit, and I've had a scroll. And I noticed a word, and I'm talking about leaks. I'm not necessarily talking about spring onions, but I'm talking about the leaks. Now, this is ridiculous. It does seem that the world's scrims have some slip through the net. Am I supposed to be jumping to conclusions? Is it alarm bells for EU?
No, you don't read. No, you don't read scrim results and assume it's going to translate to world success. And if anyone maybe hasn't read it or seen it, they've not gone well for a lot of our European teams and frankly for many Western teams. I've seen records of 0-25 in some cases.
There's whispers.
Right?
There's whispers.
When you look at some of the scoreboards, look, scrims are an indication of teams that are practicing, but the environment is not comparable to the stage. I am not going to think that this is a worrying trend right now. It does give you some indicators, some things to be aware of, but it is not going to dictate a team's performance on the world stage.
So no raised eyebrows yet, Kadrill?
Well, as a player myself, scrims are fake data sometimes. You either lose all your scrims and you come in with nothing to lose, or you win all your scrims and you come in with confidence. So as long as you practice what you're going to play on stage, I think you're in a good spot.
Or you lose everything and you learn what you need to not do on stage. You know, so like, there's so many factors to it, and I think perspective will matter a lot. But no, I don't buy into scrim data being
one factor, though, I want to make sure I make clear is that I'm also concerned that if you've lost 0-25 and Jankos is on his stream saying some regions are looking weaker than others, you know, their confidence is going to be, your mental fortitude is going to be tested. They haven't even started their games. But talking of games, today is the opening day of Worlds 2020, and the crescendo is Team Liquid versus Mad Lions. I mean, that is quite the way to reach our climax. My goodness, and that's one to look forward to, Trev.
NA versus EU, the first clash at Worlds 2020. Also the first time that we've had 4 seeds representing Europe, so I'm very excited to see what they do. Frankly, though, I'm actually more excited about seeing some of the other teams. I'm really looking forward to seeing what INTZ can do on the stage. I want to see what Legacy can do later today. I love watching what play-ins teams bring from their regional meta to the international stage, and then how that begins to impact the actual tournament meta for the following weeks.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of other names to watch, you've already given us V3, so you've got the one in the terms of the Japanese league. But out of that top 3, your Mad Lions, your Team Liquid, do you think one's coming in particularly hot?
Euphoria, baby. I'm all on the Mad Lions hype train.
All right.
Although I think LGD might be the victors of the entire planes. I think they'll do the best, but I'm on that Euphoria hype train.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. No surprises there. But the opening game, speaking of Mad Lions, is none other than the Lions taking on INTZ. Trevor's already got whispers of them. It's a young lineup from Europe, and they're taking on the young Lions from Europe. That's the ones. They're taking on none other than the CB LOL champions.
They've done it! It's the Mad Lions! The rookies have risen up.
We can win against anyone right now. We are way stronger than before. Everyone is in that try-hard mentality right now because it's just the biggest tournament of the year.
INTZ pentacampeão do CBLOL! 5 vezes tá aí, então!
Last. So EU has a tradition of sending a rookie team to Worlds, and this year it's Mad Lions. Does Mad Lions' debut make a bit of a mark of the changing of the guard? You know, are we starting to see, because it's happening in Counter-Strike, where all of these young, you know, these teenagers, these ones that grew up watching LCS of yesteryear, and now they're stepping onto the world stage and have this hunger, unlike any of those veterans now in their waning years. Is this something's happening?
Yeah, if you look across the board in Worlds in general, you've got teams like Rogue, Mad Lions, R7, Rainbow Seven, so there's lots of rookies coming in, and the good thing about rookies is they're so passionate, they're so aggressive, they're so innovative, like they come up with crazy picks. Mad Lions brought so many random picks to Europe as well, so that's the main thing about the rookies popping off. And if you look at other teams, maybe if they have too many veterans, their playstyle becomes a little bit stale, but with Mad, it's always going to be a fun surprise sometimes.
It absolutely is, and this is a team that has taken Europe by storm. They've consistently improved throughout the year. They've shown that they have deep abilities to play multiple styles. I'm going to be looking at Shadow and Kaiser as the two players that are coming to the international stage for the first time that really blew me away at a regional level, but all eyes are going to be on Humanoid. Mad Lions took the spot of Splice, replaced them. Humanoid is the only returning member from World Championship last year. He went from play-ins to quarterfinals, and frankly, made me eat humble pie. I did not expect Splice to do as well as they did, and I did not expect Humanoid to compete at the level he did. The expectation I had for his ceiling is now blown wide apart, and I want to see what he can do leading these young, hungry players at the World Championship.
Exactly, leading the young, hungry players. I mean, if you look at Humanoid last year, he was the rookie on the first-time World stage alongside with Torres, so he had players like Chachi, Circe, all these veterans around him, but now he's around 4 rookies. It's their first World Championship. He's the one who kind of needs to step up, show them the way, and just basically help them with anything regarding nerves or even in gameplay.
But don't you think that position of nurture can actually help some players develop their own game? Like for Humanoid to impart knowledge onto the 4 other players, do you think that might actually help him internally as well?
Yeah, definitely probably helps him grow as a leader, helps him in game as well, being the shot caller, stuff like this. So yeah, I'm excited to see how they do it.
Yeah, just awareness as well, just being aware of what your teammates are doing to a higher extent. I'm excited to see Humanoid in the Rift, and their opponents are INTZ from the CBLOL, who made it to the group stage way back in 2016, and this year they're looking to do it again. So 5 titles, 5 years, it sounds good, but you've been looking. How good does it look?
Well, looking at them in 2016, like you said, they did beat DDG. That was the highlight of Brazil's time at Worlds. So they definitely need to step up when it comes to the play-ins, get to the group stage and try and show a really good international performance. I think looking at the roster in general, you have players like Tay and Envy, who I'm looking at the most. If you look at Tay individually, he has so many solo kills, but he has so many solo deaths as well. So like you said before, he's such a volatile player. I think that he's definitely the highlight for me. And Envy is kind of like the opposite in a sense, where he's so reliable, he's so consistent, he's just such a good mage.
Oh, okay, so Tay and Envy, the yin and yang of the INTZ roster.
But that way together, they balance it out. Right? For me, going Golden Oldie, the 2016 era, 2050, Volta is a name that was playing consistently. The CBLOL region has been extremely volatile. Their representation in international stages has changed a lot. And they the scary teams, you know, coming from play-ins, and now that's fallen off. So a lot of pressure on INTZ, watching them come up against EU as well. We know Mad Lions' strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. This is a great litmus test to set expectations for the rest of the group stage.
No, and absolutely. And when it comes to Mad Lions, you know, clearly coming into this as to a degree a favorite. Does that give some degree of an edge to INTZ in terms of there just being so much info on the way Mad Lions intend to find their victories?
Yeah, well, I think INTZ is a team. They have such deep champion pools. They've shown us tanks top, tanks jungle. They've seen us different picks in mid, like assassins and stuff. So when they read Mad Lions and they see the script with the Shadow Lee Sin, Kaiser on the playmakers, maybe they can draft around it. I think draft in this series would be very important.
No, okay, so eyes on the draft, eyes on Humanoid. And my God, guys, I can't believe I'm saying it. I think it's almost time. It is. Okay, well, this is what the teams have been working towards all year as we kick off the 10th edition of League of Legends World Championship.
It's Worlds!
Fantastic.
Yes!
Players and fans of League